Good morning and thank you for joining us on the Thursday edition of TVC Breakfast. I'm Veronica Dani Boy. Joining me this morning is Olamide Adeyemi. Olamide.
Good morning, Veronica.
It's a good morning.
I think I'm loving the bracelet this morning.
Right. Thank you very much. A touch of Africa.
Oh, well.
Absolutely. We must represent wherever we come from.
Right.
But then we are counting down to the Ondo governorship election already. So much has been put in place by INEC according to them, and I believe that the people are set to decide who rules them in the next 4 years. We'll be talking about that, and then we're also going to talk about local government autonomy. They signed a document recently. How much of a change or game changer would that be with regards to the conversation around local government autonomy? And then we're also going to talk about former President Olusegun Obasanjo telling African youth to embrace AI. These are some of the issues we will be looking at this morning. But first, let's begin with the story. But the federal government has taken immediate action against bullying at the Federal Government College Enugu by suspending 13 students for 6 weeks. This decision follows a disturbing video of the students bullying an SS1 day student that went viral on social media. The incident occurred on November the 7th, 2024, prompting the Federal Ministry of Education to initiate an investigation. According to the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, the suspension will remain in place pending the results of the investigative committee's report. The ministry is committed to ensuring a safe and conducive learning environment in all federal schools across the country. To support this goal, the School-Based Management Committee has been instructed to collaborate with security agencies to conduct a thorough investigation, including potential links to external group. And that is where it becomes worrisome for me, potential links to external groups, because we've known that some external groups have influence on students like this. And so because those students are like easily recruited into some of those groups, they get to school, try out some of the things they learn from these external groups, and the school now becomes unsafe for other students. So I believe that the investigation will come out with something concrete, and that can be acted on. Well, the students have been suspended, but it's important that we have safe school environments because there are parents who put all their best to give all it takes to ensure that they raise a wholesome child. But when these kinds of things are happening, how do the students learn? How do the students become wholesome in that environment? Because it is a learning environment, and then we're having these kinds of things. Some students will be afraid to come to school.
All right, and we're also hoping that those students do not also pass it on. I mean, this is a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked aggression and importance of safeguarding the child's well-being. Bullying in any form is not one thing that should be acceptable in any sense. And if you look at the physical, the emotional and psychological harm it will have on the victim, it can have long-lasting consequences, especially in the society. And as a society, we must also recognize the devastating impact of bullying and take a collective responsibility in creating a safe environment for children to thrive. So while the suspension is a step in the right direction, I think more effort also needs to be made in also ensuring that perhaps they should look at counseling and support for some of these victims.
That's part of what
that was even recorded on video. What about those that had not even recorded in the first place?
Right. Counseling is one of the keys one of the things rather that the school will be employing, especially for those who, or the person who is a victim of the bullying. It's important that schools pay attention. I know that there are some schools who will tell you, or some teachers who will tell you, all they come to do is to just teach and move on, because that's what they are paid to do. But they must pay attention. Like you rightly mentioned, how about those that haven't been recorded? Most schools do not know what is going on under their nose. So it's important that they begin to pay attention to the activities of students. like this, thorough investigation should be done to know if there are outside links that are influencing the students or that have recruited them. And then what will be done next if there is an outside influence? What should be done and what will be done? Would they be able to trace every other members of these external groups that are influencing the students in the school? These are critical questions that have to be answered because, again, a safe school environment is important for students to thrive, for students to learn, to become what they should be at the end of the day. Because we say that children are the leaders of tomorrow, but when you begin to see leaders of tomorrow acting in this manner, you begin to ask certain questions. Where did we miss it? How did we get here? Are the parents the ones to be blamed? But everybody, it's a collective responsibility. When the parents do their part, the schools, are they doing their part? Who is dropping the ball?
Right. Thank you for mentioning the parents' role in this. I mean, the parents also have a lot of things to do in terms of, communicating with their child. This should also be, an opportunity for a campaign, parental involvement and awareness campaign to ensure that your child is close to you. I do not really understand the relationship that child may have had with the parents to not be able to disclose what is happening in the school. And we've seen recent incidences about bullying in schools. And I'm wondering, how did it come to this, that, a child cannot open up to the parents? I understand there are also, boarding schools, and possibly that child may not be able to disclose what is going on. But then that's the role of the parent, to also be sensitive, to talk to your child, to ask questions.
They tell you they're busy running around to make monies that they can use to send the child to school.
Oh, well,
that's not enough.
Well, for parents that look at children as a form of retirement, I think you should invest more in ensuring the mental and physical well-being of your child, even from childhood. These are very important factors. Fine, the federal government has insisted on a suspension, but I think they should also take it beyond that. And also, on the perpetrators, I mean, there should be mental counseling to also ensure that they also understand this issue. It's a different thing to punish them and they're back to school after the suspension, and they do not understand the reason why they were suspended in the first place. So these are very important issues.
Right. It's an important point to note that everybody should be examined as it is. If they understand what bullying